All right, we're back with another video. It's Remap and Ether. We're going to be covering some TvZ play now. Now that we've done a couple of videos on TVP5 Factory. So we're going to go into TvZ, which is, Remap's best and favorite matchup. So we'll all learn some things here. I recorded two videos playing against a strong ZVT player. So we're just gonna take a look at these VODs first person and kind of call out what is important. Okay, so play on Polestar, TvZ. We're gonna go for a bio play here. So Remap, what's your view on mech versus bio at the various skill ranges that are represented in CPL? Like, let's not just talk about what happens at ASL, but what about for the newer players, the mid-range experienced players, and some of the higher tiers of CPL?
I think, to be honest, Mag is a way to go until you can hit A rank with the Mag, in my personal view, because Bio is just too hard and it takes a lot of APM and it has a lot of details that you need to know in early on in the muta phase. And the TvZ playing Bio, it all comes down to how well you can play out in early games in the muta phase. Then just like playing really bad throughout that phase and going to Hive, your game's just pretty much over with the bio. So, but some people don't like to take shortcut and just try to like learn the hard way. So I guess it's kind of yes and no to start off with the bio play to learn the TvZ. But yeah, that's my view about the mech and the bio. Mech is easy to execute. But just higher you go, it's gonna be harder to beat the Zerg later on. Bio is really hard to execute, but then as you go, you can shoot out for the higher MMRs in TvZ matchup.
Yeah, I feel like with bio, you can really start punching above your weight in the higher level TvZ. Like, you can beat players that are, quote unquote, like better than you. You know what I mean? It's kind of the feeling that some other matchups get when they play a certain matchup in a certain build. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, well, with that in mind, everyone should try both styles a little bit, at least to get the feel. Don't just stick to one and never look at the other, and just like see which one floats your boat and try to pick it up. It's all good at the end of the day. So, all right.
What you guys talking about?
Um, is that live?
Yep.
Oh, hey, we're just recording a video right now. If you could fiss it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, so I have some game sound here. I realize a little bit in, and I mute my mic, so the clickety clackety should go away. Okay, we're going for a wall in here, and so I go for a 9 depot wall in on Polestar here. You guys, we highly recommend learning the wall ins for all the CPL maps and all the positions. It takes a little bit of work up front, but it's so worth it because as you'll see in this game, it lets you skip Marines, it lets you greed up, and it just blocks any Ling shenanigans that the Zergs can do at any level. But it's just like wall-in is great. Highly recommend.
Not enough minerals.
The 9 depot, 11 racks. The other variation is 8 depot, 10 racks. Your racks is a little bit earlier, so you can block early pools that much easier. But it's a little trade-off in economy. So it's kind of a stylistic difference. Although Remap has recommended going 10 racks on ladder games because we all know how cheesy ladder players are. But since in this game I'm playing a custom game and I know my opponent's not going to just 4-pull me in a custom game, I'm going for 11 racks here. Okay, we get first scout here. Okay, we see the hatchery. So Remap, what does this tell you? What's going through your head if you're looking at this and you see this hatchery, you see this overlord?
So give or take, if you're seeing a hatchery that are between 450 to 500 HP, when you first scout the zerg, that means they're going for 12 hatchery. And if it's hard to remember for you guys, all right. So if you guys are seeing yellow bar on the HP, that's a 12 hatchery for the first scout. If it's a red HP, then that means they did a pull first. It could be over pull or 9 pull. Some yeah, that's pretty much it for the first scout. But if you're second scouting the hatchery, it should be green HP for the 12 hatchery. And if it's yellow HP, that means they're going for the pull first build. And sometimes you're seeing that the hatchery is already done on the first scout. I mean, on the second scout, that means they're going for the 9 hatchery, which is more than likely gonna be a Ling all in for the follow up. So that's something that you want to keep that in mind.
It's kind of counterintuitive, right? Usually you see the hatchery, the more it's built, the more likely it is it's not a pool first and you can greed up or whatever. But you're saying that if you second scout and they 9 hatch, the hatchery is done, and this means like alarm bells are ringing and you should make Marines.
Yeah, it's better to just keep making Marines.
Yeah.
Because they do the Ling all in follow up for the 9 hatchery.
Good to know. And this is the second overlord. So if they went like some early pool, later overlord, the overlord cannot be here at this time. In the case that there's no hatchery at all.
Yep.
So we determined that. So now that we know that he's going 12 hash, we can change our game plan into going 15 CC, right, off of 0 Marines and no second depot because he went 12 hatch. And the second thing we're going to be looking for as we come into this base is the layer timing. Remap, how do you determine layer timing when you come see this?
So basically, it takes 20 seconds from the moment they start mining the gas to have 100 gas. So we're already in the best scenario where we can see everything because the gas is not even done yet. So you want to stick your SCVs around the base to see when they start mining the gases. If it's a 2 hatch muta, they're gonna start mining the gas around like 2 minutes 30 seconds, and it takes extra 20 seconds for them to have 100 gas. And at that point, you want to see the layer is going up. And if you don't see the layer going up for the next 5 seconds, that means they're going for the link speed first.
Yep. So that's the key point, is if the layer doesn't come up, the guy's trying to all in you, so we need to make Marines and plug our wall and just be ready for the bust. Okay, so we go get our 15 CC off of no Marines, again, because he can't have anything right now, because we first scouted him.
Your forces are under attack.
I'm gonna make our 16 depot. So here we see his layer going up at like 250. It's pretty fast, but that basically tells us he's going 2 hash mutas, or 2 hash something. He's going 2 hash something. And here we're going for an eBay build. So that's after your CC and your second depot, you make gas, eBay, and then academy before you make your second racks. So it's quite greedy because you're kind of like trying to make all your tech buildings up front. But the payoff is that you get a stronger, like very strong mid game where you're just pumping out upgraded units and putting a lot of pressure on the zerg.
So in this stage, both sides do not want to make any army units. They don't want to make links, and we don't want to make marines, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really important that we keep saving that like the scouting SCV, so that we can stand on the low marine as possible to pace up the gas timing and the eBay timing and the academy timing.
Yep. Put simply, the fewer Marines we make, the faster all of our buildings go up. And so the longer our SCV survives, the less he can just make mass links. Because if you see the mass links and he sees you seeing the mass links, he's going to feel really bad because you have a wall in, right? But now that our SCV is dead, it's definitely possible for him to just start spamming lings. That is that is possible. So I do have a safety SCV here for a little bit at least. But, you know, I feel like I could have got busted here in this game if he just decided to make pure lings. So, you know.
So if you pause here,
Yeah.
So the key point with this build is that you're not supposed to skip any SCVs until you're making turret, and usually by the time academy is done, you're at like 29 to like 31 supply, and at that point, it's really important to do the steam upgrade first and make the third depot with the SCV that was making the academy, and then from here you're supposed to you can skip the Marines but never skip the SCVs, and as you're having a 150 racks, you just keep making the racks one by one, because we're not gonna make the SCVs for the early muta phase for a long time. Just like how the TVP 5-fac style goes, we never skip the SCVs in early on until we make the 5-fac. Same thing with this. We never skip the SCVs until we put down the 4-racks, so that you can afford to build the turrets while you're making Marines out of all 4-racks.
Yeah.
And at that point, we're gonna skip the SCVs for a couple seconds.
Yeah, and we're being kind of loose with the order of buildings and not giving exact supply count timings. And the reason for that is TvZ is not a very good matchup to follow a strict, build order and just hope that, you know, if you follow it, it's going to work, because, you know, a lot of it depends on how well the trades go, if the zerg is droning up or going mass units. And so what we can't do is look at a build order and just follow it blindly and just try to copy the exact supply counts. We have to think about more about the logic behind the order of the buildings. So, you know, again, we're going eBay into Academy into racks number 2, 3, 4. That's the general order. Like, don't worry too much about the supply. We're just getting one comsat here. And the reason for that is it gives you ability to keep making SCVs on the other CC. And all you need to do to confirm with this comsat is if he's going lurker or muta. So you don't need to see anything else at this point. So we have our, you know, racks, 4 racks is going up, all the upgrades going. Get range as soon as stim is finished, and get +1 armor as soon as +1 attack is finished. It's very important. You have to keep on top of those upgrades.
And see how Aether is making medics after the academy is down. It's also important to make the medics in early on, so that when you push it out, those few medics gonna have more energy saved, so it just heals longer. So as soon as the academy is down, you gotta start making the medics instead of Marines.
Yeah, we're able to make medics instead of Marines because, again, we have a wall in, so he can't just send 100 lings in, right? If we didn't have a wall in, we would be kind of scared of a ling all in, and we have to make more Marines before we can start making medics, which makes our move out that much weaker because they're going to run out of energy when you stim all the time. Here I scanned his natural, and I saw that he had 3 eggs kind of like, you know, morphing, so that tells us it's mutas. Right, that's one way to tell. If you cannot tell based on that, then I think Remap and I were discussing you can just scan the main and just look for their tech there. Their tech is going to be in the main if they're a decent player. There's a whole other like narrative of why that is, but let's just assume that to be the case for now.
Hello?
Hey, we're recording something. If you could step out.
Why are you doing a public channel one? Nothing.
All right, thanks. All right. So this game, the turrets are a little bit late. It's kind of not ideal. Those mutas are here, and the turret at the rally point on the ramp is not up yet, so we're gonna take some damage. Gotta be tight with your turret timings, and you want to make them from the place that is closest to the zerg to the place that's the farthest. So the mistake I made here was, you see the mineral line turret, like over here finished, but the ramp turret did not finish yet. Like this should have been finished first, and then this one finishes later, because his mutas have to travel longer to get over here. So because of that, we're taking unnecessary losses. A couple Marines here and there, like 4 SEVs. It's very annoying.
Upgrade complete.
Upgrade complete. So around 6:30, I guess your you know, give or take, your range will be finished and your plus one will be finished at the same time. This is the time that you want to be able to move out with like 12 plus Marines and 3 or 4 medics. It's one of your very strong move outs with this
Not
build.
enough minerals.
Because our turrets were late, we don't have that exact force. You know, our force got chipped down a little, so we have to wait for more Marines. But the time that we build more Marines, the Zerg is building like more whatever. So all of this kind of snowballs a little bit, like all the details in this TvZ bio play.
Not enough minerals.
Get your factory at around 7 minutes, if not earlier, with this build, and then just progress up the tech tree.
Not enough minerals.
Um,
Add-on complete.
you want to talk
Keep-
about the Muta versus Marine micro a little bit?
It's just too broad, but the key point is that your marine ball should be packed together all the time. There shouldn't be any single marines that are sticking out outside of the army ball, because that's what the muta is gonna snipe for. So you have to like constantly like move around to pack your marines at the right angle. Like, so for example, here the muta is at like a 5 o'clock from where the marine ball is. So your marine should be packed towards the 5 o'clock so that whenever they come towards you, all 12 marines can shoot muta. And if you target fire, you can actually like kill one muta out of that, and while they're just killing 1 or 2 marines, and that's actually a good trade for Terran at that point. But if you keep having a couple marines that are sticking out of the army ball and they're just like keep sniping those for free, and the game kind of gets harder.
So this phase of the game is super important in TvZ, because if the Zerg is not, like, if he's trading well, it allows him to, you know, tech faster, make more drones, do whatever he wants basically. So if he reduces your marine count successfully, he's gonna be able to do all those things in the background. Now if you're trading well, it has the opposite effect, where the Zerg feels like, you know, he's in danger of getting busted at any time, and now he has to make more lings or more mutas or whatever, and that's money that he could have spent doing greedier things. And a couple of things go into this. It's very I would say difficult at first to pick up, and took me a really long time. But first of all, you need to look at your Marines like on the screen whenever the mutas are nearby, because they can pick you off if you're not looking. That's one. Two, you need to hotkey all your Raxes and make Marines out of your Raxes without staring at the Raxes. And that goes back to point number one, right? We have to stare at our Marines. Three is when the mutas come in for a swipe, you have to stim everything and right click one of the mutas to focus fire on the muta. Because if you just stim and don't do anything, or if you A move, they're gonna do a swipe and kill like 3 Marines, and your damage is gonna be spread across 12 mutas, and it's not gonna kill anything. So that's probably like the 3 key points, I would say. The other one is when you're moving across the map from like point A to point B, take smaller steps and use the magic box to keep your guys in a ball. Because if you, like, for example, if you're here and you just A move to the Zerg base, all your guys are going to start going in a conga line, and then that's just like muta heaven, right? They can just come in and kill everything. I'm sure we've all been there at one point or another. And any other key things I might have missed? Maybe reinforcing or something? Maybe we can talk about that later.
I was good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're good for now.
Okay.
It's like we push. So key point is that what Aether doing, like instead of just sitting at the base, we do have to push out at a certain point. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep harassed by the Muta, and that actually favors the Muta micro if you're just sitting back at the base. There's like so many holes that you have to plug in. Like they can go into your base mineralize, go into Rex line, go into Naturals mineralize. There's just so many where to plug into holes. So it's at this point, it's just better to move out and try to fight the muta outside of your base. So that's
yeah.
that's what we're going for here.
Yeah, great point. We have to move out and keep the mutas outside of our base, outside of our SCV lines, and not chase the mutas into our base to defend. That's kind of counterintuitive, but that's how it goes. Because you have to force the Zerg to think that you can kill them at any time, which you can if they mess up. Which is what makes Bio great, but also makes it it's also harder. So putting up our 2 ports as soon as our factory is done, right? Like no delay there. You gotta just keep that rolling and keep an eye on the mini map for the mutas coming in to swipe you while you're doing that, so that you don't lose your stuff. Like you notice how I keep my Marines in a ball when I'm making the starports. And now that I'm done with the base management, I'm gonna see if I can get further on the map and increase the pressure on the Zerg. We scanned and we saw some Sunkens and some Hydras, so we know that lurkers are, coming pretty soon, but not quite there yet. So, if we do this well, we should have something of a timing to do some damage. He's still not morphing his eggs, so I feel like he made his Hydras a little early, but whatever. Okay, now he's morphing the lurkers, so he's just trying to buy time until those get up, and then it's going to be very hard to bust this.
And another key point here is that when you're trying to reinforce the army, do not send out like 3 or 4 Marines, just like how Aether did. Wait until you have at least a full group of army before you try to reinforce. If you just keep sending out like 3 or 4 Marines, they're just gonna die before they get there. And you have to make sure that where the muta is located too. You see how the muta is always like behind of the this army ball? And he's also trying to like snipe those like reinforcement army, but this was good move by Aether, and yeah, but it's really hard to explain, but yeah, just the reinforcement is also the key.
Yeah, so the idea is if your Marines are out on the map, right, it's pressuring the Zerg and they have to make more army. But if your Marines are on the map, they're trading with the mutas, the Zerg's making more army because you're forcing them to make more army, but your Marine count is going down, right? The size of your bio ball is decreasing. So you would like to combine that bio ball with the bio ball and your rally point, but there's kind of technique and timing associated with that, because if you just try to send it out like whenever you have it, good Zerg will have the mutas in between your main army and your rally point and just pick off everything. Like they can kill dozens of Marines like this, and then you're just gonna lose the game. So you want to kind of like reach a critical mass that can stand on its own a little bit against 12 mutas or 11 mutas, and then move that out, and just it's kind of like you're managing two separate groups at the same time. Here we went down from his natural down to 7 o'clock with the main army that the Zerg's mutas were following, while sneaking out our rally point on the other side. And so like that's how we were able to get this army in front of his third like this. Otherwise it's it will be different. But game's kind of over at this point. Like our opponent here forgot to make lurkers at the third, happens, but that's it for this one. And then we have another one, which happens to be the same positions and the same build. So I think we can just like go over it real quick to see, kind of any differences, right? So same thing, we wall our nat, We somehow scout him first again in the same spawn. We confirm it's we confirm A, it's 12 hatchery, B, that it's a 2 hatch layer timing, so it's not some cheesy all-in. And that lets us greed in the same way that we did the first game. Very fast eBay, very fast academy, very low marine count. So this is all like the same so far. Oh, I guess one difference is our SCV here was able to wrap around the lanes, go in, scout his spire right there. Right there, like just flashed right there. 4-minute spire, right? And on the way out, we also saw this drone here heading down for the third. So we know the third's going to be like down there somewhere, most likely like the natural or the main. But if not, it's going to be at 9 o'clock. So this SCV scout did a lot of work, and what that lets us do is basically like delay scans and make more SCVs. You agree with that, Remap?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I know some people like making scans like anyways, just follow the book. But I feel like this is a slight adjustment. You just greet the scans a little bit.
The key point is that you wanna have more SCVs as possible before you putting down the turrets. That's really key point.
Yeah.
Then your turret's gonna be faster, your army's gonna be more, your fac is gonna be faster.
So here we actually get
And
our... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people forget to do the +1 armor after the +1 is done. So just try to remember that if you execute this well, you're gonna have 12 marines, 4 medics. By the like not the first 5 muta, but like the 7 or 8 muta comes at you, and that's when you try to like push out and make sure to upgrade the +1 armor because it's really important.
Yes, because when you move out, you will be fighting the mutas and being very taxed, and you're going to forget to do stuff in the base. That's a great point. Start the +1 armor before you get into that like very micro-intensive stage. The +1 armor, as Remap always tells me, is such a big like power spike. Like 1-1 Marines are super fucking strong, and they will kind of murder lurkers up to a certain lurker count. Here we actually get our turrets up on time, so you can see the difference, right? Like compared to the last game where we lost like 4 SCVs and a couple Marines, here we only lost 1 SCV. It's gonna be a big difference, as you'll see.
And you see how Aether is skipping SCVs and prioritize the Marines and the turrets, and that's what you should have done here. So I'll make sure, and this phase right here, it's really important. You're not going for the SCVs. You have to make turrets and army, and as you're having a mineral left over, you can go for more SCVs or a factory.
Yeah, so push SCVs non-stop until you start making turrets. Stop, and then make only turrets and Marines until you can solidify the muta phase. Get your factory going, and then you can basically resume SCVs while continuing to make Marines. Alright, so here we're already on the map at 7 minutes with the better army than the first game. So it's like all because of that one turret.
And see how he's not really trying to chase the muta and just make sure that like your armies are like in a pack, one big ball. You don't have to fight the muta. Like don't chase the muta, let them come at you and try to like snipe them off of it. Good. Don't chase the muta, go away from the muta. Nice. Yeah, just keep going away from the muta and have them follow you.
Your forces are under attack.
You want a piece of me, boy?
So here we got another sizable group that's able to kind of stand on its own, and so we start moving it out, getting ready to move it out. And you can see he's picking stuff that straggles, right? So anything that straggles, they're gonna punish you for it.
Your forces are
So here we were able to kind of just mass up a like really nice bio ball and sneak it through, cover our flanks from the mutas trying to snipe our reinforcements, and just get across the map and get the win.
forces are under attack.
Comes out to it kind of like looks straightforward, but I guess there's a lot of details going into it, and it could take many sessions to describe. But I think we gave the general highlights, right? The general points of how to control the Marines. Let's just look at this agenda real quick. Hatchery
Again,
versus
it's-
pool timing, Zerg's tech choice, third base. Yeah.
It's really not easy. Again, the mag is way to go, but the bio is gonna get you further and higher if you practice them early on. So just give it a try, and pretty sure you guys gonna come across a lot of different situations and like lurker, like cheesy lurker builds, or like mass links, muta all in and such. So there's a lot of a variation that Zerg can pull off as well. So as you go, you're gonna have a lot of question, and if you guys just give us some feedback how it's going, and maybe we can just cover them up later on as we go.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like this is trying to demonstrate like a very standard Zerg player, right? Like standard doesn't mean weak. Standard just means like, kind of like whatever the meta currently is. They're not, going one base Zerglings or something. So you're gonna encounter all sorts of weird stuff on the ladder, for sure. CPL maybe less so, because again, like what's the point of playing CPL if you're just gonna 4-pull every game, in my opinion, right? So, yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for watching.